first time we would have heard your name was that Granby where you took out there. I think you made quarters at 14. You pretty much look like a grown man since then. Like you were serving huge, hitting the ball big. Like very curious. What was life like growing up? Like how did you get to that point so quick? Like what was the upbringing like? What was life like from, I don't know, when you started until you were 14? Like how intensive was
Yeah.
it? And I know you got an African dad, so I'm sure it wasn't
Yeah.
always easy out there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get into that, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy first to look back on those videos like at 14, 15, like I was just about to turn 15, and it was like, so pretty much, yeah, it was 10 years ago. Day for day, it was 10 years ago. And like this year, like it popped up and I was seeing those clips, and like at the time, I had to get a walk on qualies, I show up, I play, and I win some matches, but I don't think like much of it, like obviously I knew it was big, but like I was like, okay, well, if I have the level to win, I guess I win, and then I go on with like my junior tournaments, and that's it. And then now at 25, thinking like playing a 14, 15-year-old, first of all, like playing and then losing, like, and it's not because of where I'm at, like in terms of ranking or my career, it's simply like being 25
As a man,
Darren,
yeah.
old he was, but he was probably around 25,
Yeah.
losing to a 15-year-old. No, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Yeah, so like that's tough, and now I'm like, I was crazy. Like I laugh at myself, seeing those videos, how crazy it was, like the level I was playing. And then to your question, like how I got there, well, yeah, tough to say. Like it was really like there was a big change, like from one year to another. I mean, I was good, like because in Canada we have by province. Like I was always good in my province, with Alexi and Case, all those guys. I mean, we kind of always battle with each other, like, but it was always kind of like 3 of us, 4 of us that were a bit ahead of the rest of the guys. And then in Canada as well with Dennis and other guys from other provinces. And then, yeah, like under 12, we're all good. But for me, I entered the National Center that we have in Montreal a year before I had that breakthrough. And that's really when like things started shifting in terms of like training, physical training. Like I think my dad always gave me like the right discipline and the right like work ethic, because I like to say that like tennis in my house was not like, for my dad, like it's still his number one passion today. Like he that's all he thinks about. He has an academy back home and he loves tennis. And then so growing up, like tennis kind of saved my dad's life in his mind, like it took him out of like, it gave him an opportunity to be like, okay, this is what I'm good at. And when he came to Canada in the late 90s, I gave him like the real first job opportunities. Before that, he was doing any job he could get, minimum wage. But then after, like he met some people, and that's really when like he got some really good opportunities through tennis. So he's always been like thankful to that sport and grateful that, tennis is in his life. And so to me, he gave my sister and I that passion very young. And so, like, I remember being 6, 7, and it was like, okay, yeah, you see tennis on TV, you see Wimbledon, Grand Slams, and you think, like, tell my dad, like, yeah, I want to play there one day. But he wasn't one of those parents that was like, my kid's just dreaming, like, let him just play for fun and let's see how far it goes. Like, maybe he can go to college. My dad was like, okay, you want, like, that's where you want to go? Like, it was like a conversation, like, as a kid. I was a kid, and he was talking to me, like, I remember, like I have a vivid memory, like, we're on the court, and he's showing me the line, like, whatever line, let's say, like, the middle line, and he's like, so this is the line, this is where you need to go, and he's like, sometimes you'll shift, and he's like, I'm here to take you back, and and it was like, okay.
Discipline.
I'm here to take you back. And I was like, all right. Like I was probably 9. And so, yeah, it became like kind of a mission, you know, like from a young age, really. It was like, okay, we're going to do this. And so everything was put in place to be the best player possible. And then, like, my mom was a great balance in all of that because my dad was very intense with tennis. But in the right way. Like, he wasn't, I will never say like it was negative in any way. He was fair. Anytime that he was tough on me, like, I think it was deserved. But yeah, he was good. But my mom really, not coming from sports at all, gave me like a whole different perspective, you know, on life and other things. Like, I think if both my parents were as intense into the sport, it would have been just different. Maybe still good, but yeah, like, my mom made me discover other things. So it was fun, you know, growing up as well, not just that. And then yeah, so like through my kids years before I was a teenager, just playing a lot every day, tournaments, and then obviously like winning helps, you know, because you're like 8 and you're like winning 8, 9 years old. You're winning like provincial tournaments. You go deep every tournament you play, so you find success and you find like you enjoyment in that. And then one turning point was like 11. I go play this tournament called Auger, like in France. It was like the best under 12s. Like every federation would bring in the best under 12s, and then Alexi was there, other guys were there, Benjamin Seguin and Victor Khrushchev, all these guys, and then eventually won the second year I went. So this was like, okay, coming back to my club back home, it was like big news, you know. It was like, because every generation of kids under 12, like, they would just go there, but nobody, or rarely, like, any Canadians would win. So from that point on, like, it was like, okay, like, and that was just like a couple years before, that Darian King match that we mentioned before. So that's kind of like when things started clicking, and then some years were not as good, but I was always, I guess, a step ahead with a few of these other Canadian guys. And then as a teenager, yeah, 14 to 15 to 16, then really things changed.
Thanks for watching this clip. If you want to watch the full episode, the link is in the description down below.